Hey, what's up, bloggers? And it's been a while since I've done anything remotely entertaining on the blog, and I know from the past, I've had some people write to me and say, "Hey, are you okay?" And I've been okay. It's just that I'm super tired from work because I have to commute from Los Angeles County to Orange County, and it's a lot of traffic, and it's just work just drains my soul. And by the time I get home, I'm just so exhausted that I just knock out. I'm stuck on traffic on the 405, and it's just horrible. So I noticed that it's affected not only just partially my mental health, but just any creative energy. It's just really hard. Although I do have I've been starting to read more and write more, and the desire is there. It's just that by the time I get home, it's just really I'm just exhausted. So I'm okay on that front, but yeah, it just sucks, because when you're tired, it's hard to be creative. But what's funny is I'm reading this book right here. Anyway, it's called How Creativity Works, and it's a book that explores like how creativity comes about. And I don't know if you guys have ever read the Artist's Way, which is it's a classic for exploring creativity, where the author she tries to have you open up your creativity, whatever outlet, by sort of she makes creativity a spiritual experience. What's interesting is this book right here, How Creativity Works. It sort of takes an opposite view of it and says that creativity is from within. It's all neurological. I just kind of started reading the book, but the premise basically is that there's ways physiologically that can stimulate the creative process. So it's interesting. I started reading that book recently, and it sort of takes it has a different premise than the Artist's Way, which looks at everything as being in tune with the divine, so to speak. This book says it's all within you. And it's interesting. I haven't finished the whole book, but there was a section in the book that talks about Bob Dylan. It's kind of interesting. Bob Dylan at one point was ready to give up writing, and he was tired of touring, and he was just exhausted. And so he goes to the cabin, and to get away, basically to quit music. And while he's in his cabin, did not take any instruments or anything. He went there to retire, basically. He gets his desire, to write again. And he wrote the song. He wrote like a Rolling Stone. And he said it was as though a ghost was writing through him, which is interesting, that the minute he decided to just let it go, it kind of came back to him. So the premise of this book also talks about how just being in a relaxed state of mind and being calm or whatever, and just letting things happen will foster some creativity. So this is what part of what this video is doing, is just letting me ramble. Normally I would write something and put effort into it, but today I just decided I'm just going to talk out of my ass, basically, and just express myself. Something interesting happened a couple of weeks ago, and it kind of reminds me of just how much time passes and how shit, how I'll just tell you the story. There was a guy named Kenny that I used to know that I met him at the junior college, and he was kind of a religious fanatic at the time. He was a very, very strange guy. The type that borderline autistic slash socially awkward slash just a weird dude. And of course, when we were in the Christian club, believe it or not, he was really, really like, he would just start praying and just start crying and just wailing his hands, and he was just very extreme. What's weird about Kenny is that Kenny was very, very smart. Like, he tutored like advanced math and shit, at the college. And but yet he worked at Boyo Loco, you know what I'm saying? And he rode a bike everywhere. And he sort of talked to himself. At that time, I just sort of thought he was sort of eccentric and different. Well, it turns out that it turns out I saw him the other day, like just walking, and he looked homeless. He looked bad. He looked mentally ill, and it was really, really sad to see that. And then, so I've been thinking about Kenny a lot. And then at the same time, I went to the casino yesterday to watch the games, and I saw one of an old childhood friend who was a hardcore alcoholic, and man, he looked bad. He had a beer in his hand, and rumor had it that he had a heart attack because he was just drinking too much, and a part of his body was paralyzed. And it just, I don't know, I sort of linked both of those sightings together, because it just reminded me of the path that you could take, if you just, how life just sometimes gets you if you let it, if you don't get help, or if you give in to your vices. Like the guy that I saw, his name is Rod. He was an alcoholic for a long time, and man, when I saw him, he just looked defeated, yelling for the horses to come in. It sort of reminded me of like a Bukowski poem, just tragic. And I pretended not to see him, because what am I going to say? Hey, how have you been, What have you been up to? Hey, he has a beer in his hand, and he's just fucking gone. So, that's about it. There's really no point to this video thing except to let you know that I'm alive and I'm okay. I'm just tired from work, but I intend to do more updates on the blog, and I hope you guys are doing well. And I'll try to be more active if I have time. In fact, like even right now, I'm tired, but I want to go. I'm going to go to the gym or work out so that I could have energy tomorrow. Have a good night.